Hello everyone, welcome to East West Horizon. Table tennis can be called China's national ball in the Olympic Games because according to the standards of Chinese table tennis players, it is easy to win the world championship, but it is not easy to win the Chinese championship because your coach is the world champion and your teammate is the world champion. The whole team is full of world champions. The Japanese athlete Ai Fukuhara joked that her misfortune came from the seamless connection of the four-time Great Devil of the Chinese women's team, which did not give her any chance to become the world champion. And when she was about to collapse, she was given a point in sympathy by Chinese counterpart. Europe has a system of table tennis club and passed on by each family. It is different from American system. They have long history and passed on by generations within each family. They have influence in the local area. When we were there, people loved to compete with higher level players from other countries. So the young kids would love to play table tennis because these higher level players. There are such a group of people who come to the United States with the magical Chinese skills of table tennis and spread this interesting sport overseas. Lu Boliang, one of the Chinese table tennis players, is now the head of the American Micromotion Table Tennis Academy. Their mission statement is to make life happier, make life more free, and make the world a better place. At the beginning, most of the Americans do not like to play table tennis. They like to play baseball and basketball and so on. So they never really enjoy the fun of playing table tennis. Our mission is to help the American children and the children from all over the world to enjoy the fun part of playing table tennis. The love of sports connects people of all ages around the world. Not only now, but half a century ago, it has created miracles in the history of Sino-US diplomacy. Half a century ago, the United States contained China and isolated China. Since then, things have changed and we need to find opportunities to open up channels of communication.
The American ping pong player, Glenn Cowan, overslept and missed his bus. And when he ran out, he jumped on the first bus he saw, and that was the Chinese bus. So while that indeed was very serendipitous.
At the end of March and the beginning of April 1971, the 31st World Table Tennis Championship was held in Japan. During the competition, an American athlete hurriedly boarded the bus of the Chinese delegation. This unexpected encounter opened up an opportunity.
I think this sport could help them bring us together because I remember I heard about 50 years ago or something, right? They did the ping pong diplomacy, which brought the two nations together, and I think this could be a sport to bring them to keep the two nations together and bring them closer together.
Time flies to the present. In 2022, an amateur player is enjoying her weekly table tennis time at the Micromotion Table Tennis Academy in the city.
I love the game. It's a little bit of an exercise for me, but it's still easy enough to do because I'm older. And Bo Yang is very good at teaching me to do it within my own.
As American, there's a lot of games to choose from. Why do you choose ping pong?
This is the most fun. It's always your turn. You always get to have a turn because you're always hitting the ball. I love that.
Table tennis is not just a sport. Due to the efforts of the Chinese players, table tennis has almost become a sport with a Chinese temperament. It is agile, hardworking, persevering, and inclusive.
I love the Chinese culture. It's a very friendly group of people, very welcoming. I'm a minority here, but they all make me feel welcome. It's a very encompassing group. I have more Korean and Japanese friends. I don't have a lot of Chinese friends, so I didn't know what to expect. But They're all very, very nice people.
It would be nice if there were no political manipulations. The current Sino-US relationship has become extremely sensitive, but in between Chinese American people, there's a completely different atmosphere on an individual level.
Right now, it looks like in higher political leaders will picture China or Chinese as enemies. What do you think as a normal American?
I think people to people, we're all fine. If we got the politicians out of it, we would all get along. I think people should travel more and meet more people, and then we wouldn't hate each other.
Have you been to China before?
I actually have not been to China. My parents have been to China several times, and they really love China.
In fact, coming to the United States is also a way of people-to-people exchange. The global village is not very big. If there are more features, more culture, and more exchanges, will everyone live happier? So some Americans came to play table tennis is because they love Chinese culture. In the learning process, they could get to know Chinese culture and ritual. When they play table tennis, they are indulged in the Chinese sports culture at the same time. In addition, the disadvantage of being monopolized by the athletes of one country for a long time, the sports event will lose the characteristic of competition. If other countries cannot see the possibility of winning the championship in table tennis, they will reduce their investment in this area, and the countries will pay less and less attention to table tennis. If a sporting event is swept up by athletes from a country, the development of this sport will gradually fall into decline. To keep the game of table tennis in the spotlight, China has a plan. Let table tennis players go abroad for exchanges and invite foreign players to train, so as to narrow the gap between Chinese and foreign players. Sports events often have a certain commercial nature, and the same is true for table tennis. The more people it attracts, the more sponsors will invest. However, the international popularity of table tennis is not very high, and increasing the attention of the sport can promote its commercialization. For another perspective, for table tennis to become an international event, sponsors are naturally needed. Although table tennis is very popular in China, there are not many games, and its commercial value is very insufficient. The training of foreign players may cause Chinese athletes to lose gold medals, but it's constructive to promote table tennis to the world. It's like Chinese martial arts. Because of table tennis as a medium, Li Boliang and his coaches communicated happily with students and parents from various countries during training. There are still many table tennis institutions like this in the United States and Europe, and the charm of Chinese athletes using the Chinese national sport is affecting the world's perception of China, Chinese people, and Chinese culture. To build China at home is to contribute to the country, and to spread the charm of China abroad is also to contribute to the country. The world China is shown to the whole world from the practice of every Chinese. The mutual learning between the East and West, the mutual benefit of the United States and China is the way for all people in the global village to coexist harmoniously. Well, this is all the contents of today's program. I'll see you next time.